Hey Saber fam, got a Saber reveal for you today. Phoenix Props the Light, Ben Solo hilt. Localized lockout, accent swings. This was sent to me weathered by the client. Also, the blade plug is weathered. How Phoenix Prop sends their blade plugs, I would have to modify this drastically in order to get it to be neopixel lit, but the customer didn't want it, so that's fine. So, switches, bottom activation, top auxiliary. It says all the proffie teensy default fonts. Nice localized lockup. I don't think. No. So this will also be a video for the end user as far as functionality goes. I'm going to go through all the blade styles and everything first. As far as functionality goes, whenever you get it in, you'll need to unscrew the pommel cap. Whenever this was sent to me, this was like seized on there. That was a total bitch to get off. Cause like, where do you grip at? You got like a couple lines right here. But that's it. Ended up having to fashion a piece of wood to fit that perfectly. And probably like an hour or two later, I finally got it off. But there's your kill key. Twist it to the right. Right, twist perfectly. Left, for some reason, is a little finicky. So just twist it to the right until it gets a little loose. Should hear the boot up sound, you're good to go. That's really the only functionality for the end user unless you want to change fonts on your SD card. But next font. Got a nice audio flicker blue. Got the accent swing mod. So you'll notice on this audio flicker, it only starts once the hum kicks in. I love that effect. So cool. Got a nice pulsing red. All of these have localized lockup. This has a 26-650 battery in it. Big beefy battery. 28mm Saber Essential bass speaker. This is one of my favorite fonts, the Teensy font. I think this is the only font that has force effects. To activate force, you got double tap activation. Auxiliary. I'll go into the functionality more later. There's a little bit to go over. Oh yeah, music. Tighten up these shroud screws a little bit. I feel them wobbling around. Much better. Next one. This is Tithonian Crystal. This is a good one. This has Dimitri Stock's Organic Fire Blade. Love it. This has 19 blade presets. Audio flicker purple. Teflonian crystal. Fire blade. It's the trailing fire instead of the organic fire. There's a rain sizzle. Localize lockup. You got red rain. Not sure how well that's picking up. And we have Cylon. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but yeah, you can see it. Yeah, pretty cool. And we have another blue with a, what is that called? Cylon or something like that. Just regular flicker. I love that localized lockup. Lightning blade. Super freaking bright. And these are extras. This is an audio flicker red. So this will be banks 9, 10, 11, and 12. And these you can change to what you can change any of them however you want. But these will be the last 4 blade presets that are like guaranteed it's what you're going to change, because multiple presets have multiple fonts going on. Just have to play around with it, see what you like. And blue and a purple. And you have the battery level indicator. You can see it's a little bit below the tip, so. Okay. So, now that you've seen all the blade presets, let's go over functionality. I had to do a little bit of improv on this saber. For example, the neopixel pin connector. You'll see that it fits flat up against the emitter lip right there. Well, I had to modify the neopixel holder because it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't actually go inside that holder there, since this is actually set up for a Tricree LED. Now, this way it sits flat. Originally, it would have maybe made a little bit of contact with this, but this actually gets full contact with the pins now because it'll actually sit up against the LED, the entire neopixel pins. This way you get that full 16th inch. So I already shown you the kill key. So functionality, this has the Matthew McGreary mod with it, and this has a volume menu, the accent swings, and a few other things. You'll notice with the battery level indicator, you can't turn it on. I think that's just something to do with his mod, possibly. And personally, it's fine. It still activates. Just it doesn't turn on. But you still get the functionality of it. Just battery level. Okay, next font, whatever. But obviously, you have great feedback on these switches. Great feedback. So twist to the right, kill power. Great feedback, fantastic. With the switches that came with it, I put a little double-sided tape on the backside to clear a little bit more of the gap, because before you kind of pressed down pretty hard to get it. Now it's even better, way better. So, turn it back on, switch fonts. You'll notice that little accent swing right there whenever it does the boot sound. I look at that as kind of like a notification, like, hey, this is the accent swing mod. Sweet, right? And change fonts, auxiliary. So, if you want to access the volume menu, you also use auxiliary. Press and hold it for 1 second. You're in your volume menu. Press the auxiliary to lower volume. Main or activation to raise volume. Once you hear that, you'll know that max volume. It'll do the same sound whenever you go to the lowest volume. Press and hold auxiliary for 1 second to exit volume menu. Activation. is single press of the Act button. If you want force, actually, let me get to a font that actually, this has force effects. Double tap activation for force. Auxiliary, press it for blaster. Hold it for lockup. Then if you want to activate music, press and hold activation for 1 second. Then you have full functionality still until you change fonts or turn it off, the music that is. If you want to turn off the music, press and hold for 1 second, the main. So since I like Teensy, the font Teensy so well, this is another really good one. Okay, so that's the switch functionality. I think that covered everything. Yeah, it did. So, now, the really big pain with this particular saber, with the blade, is the SD card access and micro USB access. So, if you ever need to change fonts, have to undo these 3 screws. This is kind of one thing I don't like about Phoenix Prop's Kylo Ren Ben Solo hilts, because you know his V2 is the same way. You have to undo these 3 screws just to get it. His V1 Kylo Ren was awesome. You know, it unscrews right there, but you know, dialing it in just right to where it's accurate was another story. That's the one that I'm keeping. I already sold my V2. So you undo those 3 screws. You'll notice this is pretty loose. You want to kind of hold on to this and this. You'll be able to pull it out. And you have your micro USB and SD card access right there. You can pull this all the way out if you want. You can even, you can even take the shroud off. So you'll kind of want to twist it, push it down. Just a little bitty twist. Because you're going to want to clear that screw right there from the switches. You'll see the little plungers in there too. So now you have this. Here's your Phoenix Props Delight. Woo!
Smooth Jedi.
You'll notice if you ever get to this level, I ended up drilling and tapping 2 new set screws here because the neopixel adapter wasn't, it was actually, even by itself, it was coming to like a little bit above this set screw right here. So I had to drill and tap new ones. I up-tapped these from the metric that it was to 832. You'll see 2 set screws there. One there, one there. That's holding the chassis in place. That way it's completely fixed. Because without that, it would be like sliding out and stuff, and you don't want that. But yeah, SD card, micro USB. I left this unglued for maintenance on the speaker if need be. You honestly never have to go this far. All you have to do is slide this back a little bit like I shown you earlier, and you're good to go. Is it? Okay, yeah, it's off. So then you can slide this back over it. Kind of want to stagger that and just kind of jimmy it up in there. You want to line it up. You want to line up that hole with the inside hole first. It kind of helps a little bit. And this, you'll notice there's a notch there that goes where the switches are. Now if you ever do take this speaker cover off, I find that if you put the notch up towards the top, it's a lot more flush. It's a lot easier to slide the chassis over. You might have to press it a little bit. And you'll see, like I said earlier, here's your SD card and micro USB access. And line up the holes. Usually I have to realign this more than anything else for it to work, but it looks like if you move it all, like, it's kind of a middle ground. It can't go too far to the left, can't go too far to the right. Now, the main question is, did I get the switcher plungers placed just right? That's the main question. Seems like I did. We'll find out, right? Just kind of want to hand tighten the screws in place. Screw them down. I usually just tighten them down a little bit. And then once I'm 100% certain that they are all threading in just fine, then I put a little extra torque on them. Kind of wish I would have gotten my precision screwdriver for this video instead. Would have been a lot easier than this L-shaped Allen wrench, but it works. Yep, works like a charm.
Smooth Jedi.
Okay, I think that about covers it, man. Another thing I had to mod on this was the screws for this. They were too long, would not have let the chassis slide in and out. Definitely be careful with this cap. I mean, you can try to remove it by doing it like that. You can try to get your nails on that little groove right there. It's just, ugh. Like, even just tightening it like that, I'm just kind of like, oh god, it's stuck forever now, isn't it? And see, it didn't even come off like that. Had to actually get my nails on that groove. Yeah. I feel like that'd be a nice little accessory to include with these style hilts. Would be like some type of 3D printed. I'm probably gonna leave this off during shipping, honestly, just so that, you know, end user can get it and just be like, okay, shoot, tighten it on. Oh no, it's trapped forever. Like, hey, it's your fault, buddy. Not to be a dick, but you know. I like the blade plug for this. Sits on there pretty well. I love their metal blade plugs. You know, that's aluminum. It's weathered as well. Another thing that I can speak highly of about Phoenix Props is their lovely display boxes. They got the freaking schematic on it all the way around. Super cool. Had a cool little sleeve that goes over the box. Then you have this wonderful gold Phoenix Props coin. Just a little, I guess, a thank you to the customer for being loyal. And then if you get a belt clip for it, here's your spacer for it. There's also a stand in here, and that's actually about it. So, this is all squared away for the client. This is how he'll be receiving it in the mail. Beautiful little box. Of course, I'll probably use some bubble wrap baggies, stuff like that, but the version of the mod is 1.312 AP. There's a lot of different mods of it, fixes, improvements, and that's the best one. The only issues I've had with it so far is occasionally it'll kind of like lock up, like the sound will just beep, and you gotta kill power, put it back on. It's kind of irritating when that happens, but that's the nature of open source proffie board. Even with Plector and NEC, you're always going to have issues. I always have. Plector less than any, but it is what it is. Anyways, thanks for watching, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and may the force be with you.